Good morning or good afternoon whenever you're watching this. Today I figured we'd walk around and do a little tour of the garden and see how it's looking here at the beginning of September. Our pond area is looking pretty good, and these annuals, which are the Monrovia sunflowers, are still pumping out, looking beautiful. I would definitely repeat this combination in here. And these are the new, I believe for this year or next year, Suntory double sunflowers. Absolutely adorable. I really like those and would like to get my hands on some more of those, as I was able to get that plant from Cultivate. As we look beyond the pond here, the what I call the compost hiding border is looking really good. The quickfire hydrangeas are in their pink drying stage and look absolutely beautiful against the grasses. And Peter Cottontail yarrow is still going strong. The birds have been enjoying the coneflowers here. So every day they're out here. You can hear them chirping in happiness. Before we go down to the fire pit area, I do want to show you some of the dahlias that are blooming back here. These two I grew from seed last year and were the only ones that I decided to keep. And I can't necessarily say that I would keep this one again. It is a very, very large dahlia. And as it fades, it starts to look like this. So I need to get in here and deadhead. But I did end up getting this one. And these are from just random seeds that I bought from Lowe's last year. Super cute little pom-pom type. And then some plants that have needed to find a new home. This one I believe is Popstar, Rockstar. It's a cute dahlia. I need to go here and deadhead, and then we have this one as well. The tags are in here. I would get in there, but I really enjoy the anemone types. The milkweed is going to seed, and as you can see, they're covered in aphids. It's because the end of the season is near, and well, these guys are in too good of compost that they really have been putting on a lot of juicy growth, and the aphids really like that, but we'll leave that for ladybugs. But as you can see here, this is an Astromeria. This is new from Proven Winners. This is cold hardy down to zone 6. I have one of them in here. I need to find where I want to put it, but they're really great for cut flowers. So if you're a flower farmer, this would be a great one to get for you because you'll be able to have blooms throughout the entire season. This has been going and going and going, and I think if the dahlias were out of the way, we'd have a much better looking plant. But moving along here, this poor bed really needs some water, but we're going to be redoing it, I think. So let's head on down to the fire pit area. As you can see, approaching on the right hand side there are crepe myrtles. We've also got some cupcake cosmos finally starting to bloom. These are the crepe myrtles from Bloom and Grow, I believe, or Bloomables. I don't know exactly the variety, but I believe it's the Bellini series. So there's 3 here of the pink. The rose here is still going. This is Proven Winners Urban Legend. I really like this rose. I did have to come through and take out a large stalk. It was quite large for this area, and it just really made it look wild and messy. So I brought it back down, and you can see it's still going. Some changes are going to be made through here. You can see that it looks like we've started to make a disaster, and it's because we're taking the gravel out and moving it to another project, which I'll show you shortly. But this area is going to get a remake because we just do not use it. We've only probably used it maybe 2 or 3 times, and the entire time that we've had it and built it, as much as it looks good, well, it looked good on camera and for Instagram, it's better to use a space than just have something that you have to keep up to make it look good. The naturalistic border here is doing its thing. We have asters coming into bloom. The beautiful grasses of Cheyenne Sky and autumn joy sedums are coming in. The Gallinia trifoliata is starting to get that ruby color that I absolutely love. Still have salvias going and some more of the cosmos that I just randomly planted in here. If you're unfamiliar with blue grama grass, I really suggest getting some. I started these from seed. These were really easy. These are just the straight species, which is native here. And they have really interesting little seed heads. Very airy, great drought tolerance. Just really an interesting little effect to add to your garden. The geraniums here are geranium Mary Ann. This is supposed to be a more compact cultivar of Roseanne geranium. I will say it is more compact, but I am not impressed with the amount of blooms that it puts out. It's very scraggly compared to Roseanne, which puts out a far more consistent look. This one would be nice intermingled with stuff. I don't hate it, but it's not at the top of my list. You can see here that these cosmos are still going. They're absolutely amazing. This is Cosmo Nova Sunstone from Terra Nova Nurseries, and I plan to bed out so many more of them. I have them here and just slightly down here. This is 3 plants. If you're wondering what this wild and crazy guy is, this is Culliver's root. This particular variety is called Fascination. It's a lavender purple color. As much as I like the height right here, I'm thinking about taking these out because they don't bloom as long, and I think it's because the area is so dry. So I'd like to move them to a back of a border somewhere to see if they would enjoy the space a little more and stay in bloom longer. The poor service berries are going to be taken out. I have requested from First Edition Trees and Shrubs to get a Matador maple, and I'm going to actually place it right about in this spot center. That will provide some shade over in this area, which is one reason why we don't use this area. And it will bring out some red color down here. These service berries have been dragging pretty bad. They look pretty bad, and I don't really want to bring water out to this area. I'm trying to minimize the amount of water. Let's see the pumpkin Hybericum here. This is a First Edition Trees and Shrubs, well, Shrubs and Trees plant. Beautiful little blooms here of yellow, and then they put out these orange little seed pods, and then they turn black, which still is super interesting. And I love Hybericum because the leaf color is almost like a turquoisey color, very different compared to a number of other plants. Northwind panicum grass is looking absolutely amazing. These are Holy Smokes Andropogon, and though the color is absolutely amazing on them, this rosy pinkish purple colors you can see here. These grasses are quite large and they tend to flop. I've been cutting back pieces, which is not ideal, not what my plan was. I wanted them to be more rigid. This one's pretty good, but this one's really floppy and really tall. I think sometimes when we read labels on plants and they say, oh, they'll get 7 to 8 foot tall, we really don't envision how big that's going to get sometimes. And boy. So these are going to get removed. I'm thinking in the spring, once I start seeing them come up, I might move them up into the Memorial Garden, give them a try there. Because it's so dry over there, I'm hoping that maybe they'll stunt and not get as tall, and they'll work perfectly in there. This is another new for this year or next year from Proven Winners. Their Coreopsis. It's bred for better powdery mildew resistance, but with the amount of heat and humidity we had this year, it really got cloaked. It's looking better now. I'm going to give it another season before I say yay or nay, but As of right now, I don't love that, but they have really been blooming non-stop since I put them in. This entire border back here is going to get a revamp this coming spring. So some things are going to be changing and hopefully have a better consistent design over here. I don't know if it was in the last video or not, but I did have to take out my Stewartii tree. Unfortunately, this area is so dry that it just could not transition and it did die, which was pretty sad. But I'm going to hold space right here. So hopefully next year I can put in a evergreen. I really want something that'll contrast the green giants when they're fully grown in, but I want something evergreen right here. I think a good anchor will look nice. There's also a few other plants that I'd like to put in this area, like a pink buddleia, a vitex possibly as well, because of, there goes our cat. This area again is really dry, so I'm looking for stuff that will handle those conditions. I did move right there our catalpa tree, or not catalpa, this is the El Nino catalpa. It's not a tree, but it's a large shrub. It was struggling over in the one area that I had, and I'm hoping that it will do a lot better over here. As we look down the border, you can see our showy goldenrod. That is a native plant that I started from seed, and I don't think I planted that, but an ironweed showed up, and I'm not really mad about it, but it is a plant that is kind of hard to move once you have it. So if I even wanted to transition it, it'd be very hard. So looking further into here, this is Andropogon Blackhawks. This one is not showing the amount of color that the other ones are showing in the more stressed conditions, but these will start putting on this really beautiful dark purple black color this time of season, and I really enjoy it. I like the height of this one a lot better too. You can see that's black, the Holy Smokes. This is the Blackhawks. It's shorter, even though this one is still shorter than the other one. These only get about 5 to 6 foot tall and make way better exclamation points in your garden. Leaving the seed heads here of our agapanthus, but this beautiful little aster is blooming, and I actually moved a couple of these into the garden, and this is the only one that's stuck, unfortunately. So we will try to divide it again or take some cuttings later next year and get some more going. We also have some standing ovation little blue stems coming into full plumage, and they're so beautiful. So if you don't have the space for a big boy, these little guys will give you that wispiness that you'll absolutely love, and the birds really love all of the seeds available from them. If you're like me and you have a lot of cone flowers, I did go through and deadhead all of the spent blooms on all my cultivars that are single types, so that I could reduce the amount of seedlings and no crosses, so I don't start getting mix-ups in the garden. You probably can't hear it, but there's a little bee right in here going to town on this Lottie's Love Rugosa rose. This is another one from First Editions. I absolutely love this rose. It's very easy going. It lends itself beautiful to any type of garden, whether it be naturalistic or whether it's a formal garden, and it just pumps out blooms. They smell good. They get beautiful rose hips, so don't go back and shear them at this point in time in the season. Let those rose hips go in and start coloring up, and they'll provide some food and forage for nature as it goes on. Moving down a little bit, we have the Monrovia Hybericum. This is our other cat, Harry. This is a variety called Floral Berry Sangria. Absolutely love this. This does bloom the yellow flowers, and then it gets these beautiful red berries on top, which are actually just seed heads. not even a real berry, and then they'll provide some seed for the birds later in the season. This is not an aggressive variety. None of the Hybericums that I have are aggressive. I did try growing them from seed. That's one thing I like to do, is I like to take cultivars and grow their seed just in case I decide to leave a plant up during the season. I want to see how aggressive it's going to be for me, and that one is not. Actually, I had a very low fertility rate, so I think I got maybe like 2 seedlings out of it. Coming along here, you can see again the showy goldenrod in the back is coming in, and the pollinators are going to absolutely love them. And there's a glimmer of orange back here next to that random celosia. And this is a helianthus that I really should move out further so I can see it. And then I have some coneflowers here that are going to get moved as well further down in the garden. Excuse me while I step out for a moment. So moving back to here, we'll do a whole pan out of this whole area so you can see it. We do have some other coreopsis that have been pumping out the blooms. This is actually one that I needed to double check the name of. This is from Terra Nova as well. And it is, if this will focus, Coreopsis Nova Jewel. There is another one called Nova Opal that I do want to give a go as well. And I just found a mole hole. Our cats need to do their job and kill these moles, that's for sure. All right, so rounding out, the last thing I want to point out that's in bloom here is, well, it's actually just finished flushing out. There was a huge amount and I went through and deadheaded it. But this is Sweet Fragrance. It's a beautiful rose from First Editions. Actually not First Editions, Easy Elegance Roses, which is their partner brand. And it's such a good rose, such a good rose. So I'm gonna zoom out here so you can see the whole area that we just recapped. So this is the area I call the long border, and this is up against the south side of our property. And then we also viewed this area down here, and that goes back to our fire pit area, and then the pond. All right, so let's turn the camera around and start the rest of our tour here. Trying to make it quick for you guys, just because I don't want to have a long video, but the staghorn sumacs are catching the light beautifully now that fall's coming. The light is coming down past the maples, and they're going to start taking on that beautiful orange and red color that they're so known for. Oh, they've really put on some size. These two have, this one's staying a little shorter, but it's getting a little wider. But I expect these guys to really start taking on a beautiful effect soon. Our oak leaf is still hanging on. Now that the cooler weather's coming on, the leaves are starting to perk up. Thank goodness. I haven't really shown you much of this area just because it's still a work in progress. I'm still trying to figure out what I want. I want a naturalistic shade garden, but I'm struggling. I definitely need to get my hands on bigger masses of certain plants and take out a few plants that I'm just not loving anymore. All right, so we got some dahlias blooming, the brush strokes. Brush strokes little blue stem from Proven Winners. This is going to be new for next year. It's such a beautiful plant. I'm trying to get this, there we go. Bring up the brightness for you. It's a really beautiful, very rigid blue stem that I would definitely recommend and be using further in design work that I do for clients, and I really love it. Paired with these more tropical looking plants like cannas and the hardy bananas, I think they're really good. And then you can see it still lends itself beautifully with pines and that more naturalistic design. And then even with some of them are more favorite cottage plants. You can see here that's Geranium Roseanne that got a hard cutback earlier this season. And then this is Purple Dome Aster. The flowers on this are absolutely large, perfect for big bumbles to jump on. And it's just now coming into bloom, and that's with no pruning or anything to keep it this size. It will get a lot larger. And I'm going to pan around here just so you guys can get some of that morning light coming through and what we get to enjoy. This fun little plant here is one that I started from seed. This is called popcorn plant. When you brush the leaves like this and bring them up to smell, they do smell like buttered popcorn. I think it's so cool. It's really interactive for kids and for, adults as well. But it does bloom these yellow flowers that do look like really buttered popcorn, which is super, super cool. Quick look, we've got some of our Lavandula Anuco double-scape lavender coming back into bloom. They're just now putting on bud set here. This is a Spanish lavender that's actually hardy here from zone 6 to 9 and came from Darwin. We had one section die out. There's 3 plugs in there, so we'll just give that a shape up to get it back into shape when it comes to. Really catching this morning light. Let me scoot up here and look back. Some silver sunflowers, which one plant, look at that, so cool. Beautiful foliage too. I'll definitely be growing that again. And then the Rebecca, the name is escaping me of the variety right now, but this section of the border is looking really good. This is some Alternanthera that I grew from seed, and the Persicaria is still looking really good. I do want to come through and edit out some of this Euphorbia robii though, because it's taking over a bit much. Glancing over here to the right side, this is our memorial garden, and as you can see, it's looking pretty barren, and that's because I'm taking out a number of things. This area is extremely dry, and we're going to be adding in drip irrigation to the area because the black walnuts just suck down the water. If you're wondering what the white back there is, it's a panel, some recycled panels that we had from an old shed that I need to get over and paint black today, so they look, not so prominent. But this whole area is going to get a redo, and it'll be First Editions is going to be helping us out on this one with the new flowerful hydrangeas and a number of other things to go in here. And I have some other plans which we'll talk about. So some plants that we're waiting to get in the ground. The Gothic garden is still going to need some work. We got some drip coming in here, and it's going to get a new look. But now we're going to have to start walking backwards because the sun is coming into the camera. This is a little project that we've been working on currently, and I've been building these steps. I've got one more to go. It's probably going to be right about here, and then we'll mimic what we're doing there. We're just growing grass. This is going to be a new little extra seating area for when we have people over, because we congregate over in this area so much. And then we'll just fill in with grass here, but this will bring in some really beautiful hardscape into the area, and I need to finish out some planting. All right, beautiful aster. Love this. So this is the Monrovia garden. This is heading back out to our front here, to our front entrance. Let me swing back here. Everything is looking really good. I'm thankful for the ongoing color that is out here right now. The salvias are still in bloom. The beautiful bling roses you can see right here are still going and profusely. These ones have had a little bit harder of a time transitioning, but I expect them to fully come back in the spring. And the more I look at this area, I'm missing something, and I haven't quite figured it out. I think I need an extra little pop of color. We only have 2 colors going on here, pink and purple. So I really think I'm going to add in a little zing of that peachy orange, since we'll have it from the Mai Tai geraniums. I have another coneflower called Fresco apricata that I would love to add to this area. And I think that spirea is going to be getting rehomed, and we'll figure out from there what gets placed there. But I think, as you saw when we came around, our driveway did get finished. We did get all of the edging put in. We've got our grass growing back in. It's looking really, really good. Got all the boxwoods trimmed up. I do want to show you real quick the window box here. it is looking really good, aside from the bromeliad that you can see there with the rather crispy leaves, but everything's looking really, really good. I like seeing a bit of my container, um, but we're going to be transitioning them out because our friends over at Crescent Gardens have sent us out some new window boxes, and those are installed. I was making sure I did it correctly, and then we're going to get planting for fall. We've also got a couple other projects to go through, which is we're going to restain the deck here. Well, we have to stain the deck. We never have. And then we're going to be finishing in around the door with some new stone that we've gotten in. So coming down, you can kind of see our driveway a little bit more here. These birch, which are leaning towards me, are getting taken out. We're going to start fresh, and we're going to put in a new fastigiate variety called Parkland Pillars. So hopefully those will be going in this fall. They'll run all the way down, replace those two service berries on either side of the driveway, this hornbeam, and then we'll be placing two more here and there, and those service berries will be relocated. But you can see here how good the front border is looking. The black and blue salvia is really going for it. I do need to bring this down in scale next year. So I'll be Chelsea chopping that early on, hopefully minimizing the amount of height that's there. These sun patients have suddenly decided they want to come back and rebound, and I need to get in here and do some weeding, and I need to finish my mulching, which I think I've said multiple times. Yellow poker plants are really going for it. I don't know if you can tell, but we did finish our windows. We have decided we are going to go ahead and paint the house the dark gray, much like the garage. We really like that look. We were trying to make it work with the current color, but we just do not like it. So everything's looking really good here. A little show over here from our French Cabaret. I think this is White or Blush. I'm not exactly sure of the name, but looking pretty good. Could go in and do a little deadheading, but on this side of the house, I'm not too worried about it because it's not seen dramatically. Did do some pruning here on our oh my goodness, what's the name of this red bud? Rising Sun. And we still need to get this area figured out. I've got some ideas in my head. I'm thinking about making this into a moon garden area of white plants. And that will be good for pollinators such as moths during the evening hours. All right, moving along. Again, we've got some new lavenders coming into a bud here and getting ready to bloom. I believe these are two different varieties in color. Come on, focus. There we go. This is a dark purple, and this one's a pink one. And these are Lavandula Lavanova. Frost pink, hardy zone 6 to 9. They have that really pretty silvery texture. Thought those were really cool, so we're going to see how well those do. Those are, again, from Darwin Perennials. The salvias, I have gone through and taken cuttings of a lot of my salvias this year. And since I'm finally having some success, so I can hopefully overwinter them. Hopefully the traffic is not too loud for you guys. I'm so sorry. I have reworked and cleaned up this area quite a bit from the last time we viewed it. Got it pretty much all mulched. I edited out a bunch of stuff. I've been putting in a few new things. I did get some agastache put in here. This is black adder. Probably could use a little bit of a drink. I will say I really like this salvia, and I would like to figure out if I've gotten any seeds in here that I could collect, because I am worried that I'm not going to be able to find this variety next year. If not, I think I could find some seeds online, but it's a really, really pretty variety. Milkweed has fallen. But you can see there's a lot of blank spaces because I did do a lot of cutback. I did do some transplanting, and I removed a bunch of that yellow poker plant that was just really flopping everywhere. So hopefully next year it'll look a lot better. You can tell the deer have been through here because they've done some damage. They've knocked over a number of things that were not knocked over, and they have, boy, the moles this year are just insane. Boy, they've done a number through here. I was yelling at them last week from our bedroom window because we happened to go to bed and there they were. The agastache are doing really, really well. That one from Darwin Perennials is still doing good. I'm hoping these Ascot rainbows really bulk up. I saw Erin's that have overwintered and might have just not looked as good as hers, so I don't know if she's doing any pruning or what she's doing to get that bulk, but hers look way better. Do have some anemones blooming over here. I'm not quite sure of the variety. It's a pink one, but it is aggressive, so be warned. We have some coneflowers coming back into bloom as well. This is pink truffle. Still loving this little guy. If you don't have it, these are tassel flowers, and absolutely a little whimsical plant that you definitely need to be growing. I've been growing them for 2 years now and just absolutely enjoy them. Snowdrift is coming back into bloom. She's loaded with buds. Such a beautiful, beautiful plant. I'm trying to alter the lighting here so it looks good on camera for you guys. I'm sorry. Got a lot of verbena back there. Still have not tackled the deadheading of this Dahlia, but boy, you can smell everything. This is the Bluebeard, that's the chartreuse variety. It's doing really, really well. Just fully opened up the other day. But just past that, this is the first time that Little Goblin Orange has really put on a show. The berries, I would say, are not very orange. They're more of like a red orange. But I've got a female there, and there's a male tucked in somewhere. Somewhere in this mix of plants, there's a female. So once all the leaves are gone this fall, we'll have a beautiful berry set that we'll be able to see out the window of our living room. I do leave the seed heads of a lot of my alliums, but I'm looking to actually come in here and divide these by half, almost all of them, so that I can get some starts from them. Calamintha, still going. Definitely a plant you should be growing. This amazing mass of tassel flower. I love it. Just love it. It's like an orangey red. And as we pop back up here, you can see the asters are coming into bloom. Still have some Nephofia and a little bit of Persicaria back there. And then one little funny tidbit before we are done with our tour here. So we have this pink aster, which obviously needs to be moved up. But the deer have eaten this aster down so many times, it's literally ground covering. So we're going to have to dig that one up and get it moved somewhere because apparently it's pretty tasty. So another view of our driveway now that it's done with the edging in it. Definitely worth it. It's starting to do that beautiful rusting effect which contrasts the black gray of the driveway to the green grass. This is the long border of the front. We did do a pop out here. Not only can we drive over into this if we need to park over here on the field, but we're also able just to easily and safely, instead of driving down there with the tractor, to mow the field next door. We'll show you real quick some of the things that are going on in here. This is Niagara Falls Panicum from Proven Winners. Absolutely an amazing upright panicum grass. Definitely should add it to your list. We have some dwarf oak leaves. These are peewee. These are some of the perennials that Darwin sent out earlier this spring. This is Junior Walker Nepeta. This is Blue Bayou Salvia. I can't say it without trying to sound southern. I'm so sorry. No disrespect to anybody, but it just comes out in the Blue Bayou. There are some coneflowers still going. These are the Monrovia Evolution Fiestas. So I've got 3 here, and then I tucked 3 over there. I would like to get a couple more for over in that section. Again, this is that Geranium Marianne. It's doing good out here, can't complain. Little pop of color. I did add in some of this Gara. This is Belize Pink, I believe. I picked it up at Lowe's when they had their 2 for $10 deal. Beautiful pink. And then the Phenomenal Lavenders are still looking good. I'm hoping that they'll get a little bit bigger as we go on. And then the Catamint, which absolutely cannot get enough of. Such a good doer. I have it in so many areas of my garden. And then I repeated the same over here, except for there's a random petunia or 2 in there. And this area really needs some water, but we'll get to it. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this quick-ish tour of what's going on in the garden right now here as we come into September. There's going to be a lot of moving. Oh, I don't even think I mentioned that. We did get the Southern Magnolia moved out from over here to right here, and I absolutely love it. I love when I'm looking down from the driveway area this way, that big beautiful evergreen. Can't wait till that gets so much bigger. It's put on so much growth this year, so I expect it to put on a substantial amount of growth next year. And then this bed will get some redo. But we have a lot of tree removing and roulette to do, as I do almost every year as I figure out exactly what I want in this garden and as I grow things to find out what I like. So I hope you guys are having a good day in your garden, and we will see you in the next one.